Hello fellow stackers, 365 here, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I wanted to talk about another experience of me going into my bank. Now I've done many videos on this in the past about how I was trying to go into different branches here in the UK and draw out some of my own money from the bank. Now a lot of people in the comments have told me that I need to stop calling it my own money because once you put money in the bank it's no longer your money. You're basically giving it to the bank. So it suddenly becomes their money and it's up to them what they do with it and how they let you have it back and then how quickly you can get it back and all the rest of it. And I have come to agree with that now, that although it's my money in my bank account, once you pay it into a bank, it is no longer your money. And you've got to remember that a bank is not your friend. A bank is a company. A bank is making lots and lots of money from your money. And like I said, I need to stop calling it your money because once it goes into the bank account, it becomes their money and they're using their money to lend it out to people in terms of mortgages, loans and credit card debt. And then people are paying back a high percentage on it. So they're becoming very rich off the back of what used to be your money. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating because it's a topic I wanted to move on from because I kept going into different banks and it was quite a lot of hassle to do because I don't really keep money in my bank. I keep my money in assets and investments and in this stuff. So I had to move quite a few things around in order to get the money in my bank in the first place. And then I had to travel to different banks because my local banks in my local town have already closed down or they're in the process of closing down, so they're not open many days a week. So I had to go to different locations. I spent a lot of time driving around doing this experiment to see how easy it was to get out my money. And basically I couldn't get my money out. They told me that I had to pre-order it essentially. That was what it came down to. A lot of banks were saying I couldn't get it out. I had to draw it out from ATMs. I couldn't draw it out all in one go. Some banks were saying I could have it all out in one go, but I had to wait 48 hours. So there was quite a few people in the comment section saying I should have told them to close my bank account there and then force them to give me my cash. So I've decided to go back to the bank, and I went back to the bank during my lunch break today at work. Now, I went in there with all my ID, my bank card and all the rest of it. And I went in there one last time to ask to draw out £1,000. So I thought I'm going to do £1,000 because I know if I say £500, they'll probably direct me to the ATM. And I'm pretty sure with this particular bank account, I can draw out £500 in one go from the ATM. So it wouldn't really work with what I'm trying to achieve. I'm trying to basically force the bank to give me back what was my money. So I went into the bank, had all my ID and my bank card and everything, and I asked to draw out £1,000. Now they told me I couldn't draw out that amount. They didn't have that amount in the bank. And I've heard this from 3-4 banks in the past fairly recently. So I didn't bother asking for a manager this time. I didn't bother escalating it or anything like that. I just said, okay, that's fine. If you can't give me my £1,000, I'd like to close my bank account now. And they said, okay. They said, let me get someone that can come and have a talk to you about that. So they basically took me over to a seating area. I sat down. It wasn't the branch manager, but it was some sort of manager within the branch, customer relations manager or something like that. I can't remember exactly what their name tag said now, but it did say some sort of manager. They asked me a few questions about why I wanted to close my bank. I was quite sort of blunt this time because I was on my lunch break and I knew I had to kind of keep it quite quick and swift. So I said to them, I don't really want to disclose the reasons why. I just want to close the bank account down. I'm not happy with the recent services I've been receiving. I'd like to have my money in cash today so that I can go and open an account with someone else. Now, the conversation was going backwards and forwards. They were basically trying to get me to stay and ask me the reasons why and all the rest of it. And like I said, I was keeping it short and sweet. I was saying, I don't want to go into the reasons. I want to close it. And long story short, they still told me I couldn't have my money. They told me that if I wanted my money in cash, I would still have to wait 48 hours to get the money in cash so that they can order it in and I can come to collect it. I told them I wanted to close my bank account right now though, so I wanted the actual cash right now. They told me that wasn't an option. They said the only way you can get your cash right now is if you give us another bank account, so another bank details, and then we can close your account and we can transfer your money to that other bank account. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. I want to close my account and actually have the cash. And like I said, they said that's not an option. I would have to wait 48 hours for the cash. So they essentially gave me two options. None of those options included me getting hold of my physical cash. The two options were pre-order the cash and wait 48 hours to collect it, or close my bank account and have the funds transferred to another bank account. So again, I still can't get hold of my physical cash, even by actually closing my bank account down. Now, I really wanted to try this because there was a lot of people in the comments that suggested I should have done that. I should have said, I want to close my bank account down now, give you my cash. But it just goes to show that even with threatening to close your bank account down, you still can't get hold of your cash. So I didn't actually close it down because there was more forms and paperwork and things I had to do. And I didn't have my other bank card details on me to be able to transfer the money out to a different bank. So in the end, I walked away. I said, I need to get back to work. I'll be back later today to close my account. But they made it very clear that closing my account still wouldn't give me the option of having my physical cash. They told me that that's not an option. They don't hold that amount in the branch, so they physically couldn't satisfy my needs of actually having the physical cash. So yeah, I think this is going to be the final video that I do on this series, because I think this is like part 5 or part 6 now. So I don't want to sound like a broken record. And like I said at the beginning of the series, this whole experiment was originally to kind of put everyone's mind at rest. A lot of people were saying about the bank closures in the US and how there's going to be bank runs all over the world and all the rest of it. And I wanted to walk into a bank, I wanted to draw out some cash so that I could hold the cash in the video and say, look, everyone calm down. It's not kind of what people are talking about. You can still go into banks and get out fairly large amounts of cash, but it just didn't end up going that way. So I'm glad I've been documenting it, because it will be very interesting to watch these videos back in the future. And it's more and more scary to see how quickly CBDCs are being phased in. Like I said in the video yesterday or the day before, how in Europe, in certain parts of Europe, you're not allowed to spend more than 1,000 euros in cash. So you have to use a debit card or a credit card or bank transfer, whatever it may be. It's basically illegal to spend more than 1,000 euros in cash. So yeah, they're really starting to clamp down and put restrictions around it. And when I read through the kind of white paper for digital pound here in the UK that they're talking about releasing in the near future, one of their main kind of strong points for bringing out the digital pound was more and more people aren't spending cash, and more people are using digital payments already. So it makes sense. But the reality of it is they're making it so it's almost impossible to spend with cash. Because say you wanted to buy a car, for example, you can't go into the bank now and just draw out cash like you used to and go and buy it with cash, because the banks are telling you no, they haven't got that money. So you're forced to do a bank transfer or pay on debit card if you're going to a car dealer or whatever it may be. So it's not the fact that people are choosing to spend more digitally, it's the fact that we're being backed into a corner and being forced to have to spend digitally, because you can't get your money out of the bank very easily. And a lot of these, like I said, a lot of countries now are starting to restrict how much cash you can actually spend. So again, you're forced to put larger payments on cards. So it kind of falls into their narrative of people aren't spending cash, because we're in a situation where it's so difficult to spend cash because you can't draw it out of the banks and you can't spend over a certain amount in cash. So yeah, let me know what you think about this video. Like I said, I don't want to be constantly talking about me going into the bank and my experiences. I feel like we've boxed everything off in regards to the experiment now. I've gone into a bank, I've tried to draw out my own cash, they've told me no. Some banks have said yes, but in 48 hours. Other banks are saying no, you just got to use the ATM machine. I've also gone into the same banks and I've asked them to close my account. Again, they've told me I still can't have the cash, it has to be transferred over to a new account, or it has to be ordered in. So again, it kind of summarizes the whole experience that it is no longer as simple as walking into a bank. This is in my experience. Some people are saying that it is still easy to do in their banks, but in the banks that I've gone to, in my experience, it's not as easy to just walk into a bank anymore and ask to draw out a large sum of money. So yeah, it's quite scary really to think how quickly they seem to be pushing along the CBDCs, and they're almost backing people into a corner where you're forced to spend digitally, And then again, like I said, that falls into their narrative because the stats show that less people are spending cash. So then they can kind of roll it out by using that as a statistic and saying that they're just trying to make it easier for everyone. So yeah, and like I've said before, my main concern with CBDCs is the amount of control it gives them over your spending. It literally gives them the control of how much you're spending, in what industry, in what location, and all the rest of it. So yeah, let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. As always, thanks very much for watching my videos. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of series, if you like, of me going into the bank and trying different things to be able to get my cash out. I'm now going to be taking my money out of the bank and transferring it back into the stock market in an index fund. So I'll no longer be doing any more videos like this. Like I said, I don't like to store money in the bank anyway because it's just getting eaten away with inflation. It was only put in there for this experiment. So yeah, let me know what you think about this in the comments. As always, thanks very much for watching and I hope you have a nice day.